The morning fog hung thick over the archipelago, curling around the jagged cliffs and broken reefs like a living thing. The small research vessel Aurora creaked gently as it cut through the shallow waters, its metal hull groaning against the tide. Captain Rhea Donovan stood at the helm, her eyes narrowing against the mist. She had navigated these waters many times before, but today something felt different, almost like the sea itself was holding its breath. The crew moved quietly around the deck, each absorbed in their own tasks. Dr. Elena Morales, the ship's historian and anthropologist, adjusted her goggles and leaned over the railing. Her eyes scanned the water with a mix of curiosity and unease. "Captain," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Look at that." Rhea followed Elena's gaze and froze. Emerging from the fog was the silhouette of a massive galleon, its dark hull cutting a sharp line across the gray horizon. It drifted steadily against the tide, sails tattered, yet somehow intact, moving with an eerie independence that made the hair on the back of Rhea's neck rise. "Impossible," muttered Lieutenant Jaren Kai, the ship's engineer, standing beside Rhea. "There's no wind, no engines. How is that thing moving?" Rhea shook her head. "I don't know. But it's real. And it's coming this way." The galleon was enormous, much larger than any ship built in the last few centuries. Its figurehead, a carved mermaid with hollow eyes, glimmered faintly through the mist. The wood appeared aged, cracked in some places, yet strong in others, as if it had resisted the decay of time itself. The sails flapped lazily, though no wind stirred them, giving the ship a ghostly appearance. The crew gathered at the deck, a mix of awe and fear on their faces. Even seasoned sailors felt a chill. Dr. Morales fumbled for her notebook, her fingers trembling slightly. This could be centuries old. Some of the carvings, the design, they don't match anything in recorded history. I've never seen anything like it. That is Savin. Har Assus. Jaren raised an eyebrow. "You mean it's a museum ship come alive?" Elena ignored his sarcasm. "No, I mean it could be human. Or at least built by humans a long, long time ago. Before anyone thought we could make ships this large." Rhea's voice cut through their chatter. "We need to be careful. We don't know if it's dangerous. Or alive." The galleon continued its slow, deliberate approach. Every creak and groan of its wooden hull echoed across the misty waters. A sense of inevitability seemed to follow it, as though the ship knew exactly where it wanted to go. "Prepare the small boats," Rhea commanded. "We're going to investigate, but stay alert. Keep your comms open. And no one goes alone." The crew worked quickly, lowering 2 small boats into the water. The fog seemed to thicken as they rowed closer to the galleon. Elena's heart pounded in her chest. She had read about lost ships, ghost fleets, and centuries-old vessels, but she had never seen one in person, never one moving by itself. As they approached, the sound of the galleon's timbers creaking grew louder. The figurehead seemed almost to watch them, its carved eyes reflecting the dim light of the morning. Elena couldn't shake the feeling that the ship had a purpose, an intent beyond human comprehension. The boats nudged against the galleon's side. Its hull was smoother than expected, polished by years of contact with the sea. Jaren touched it carefully. It's solid, almost new in some places, but no seams, no modern welding. Just wood. Ancient wood. Elena climbed aboard first, her boots echoing against the empty deck. The air smelled faintly of salt and old timber. Nothing moved, no crew, no animals, no birds. It was as if the galleon had been abandoned, yet somehow alive. "Spread out," Rhea instructed. "Check the deck, the cabins, the hold, but stay together." They moved cautiously, their footsteps muffled by the soft wooden planks. As they explored, they noticed carvings along the railings, figures of humans, stars, and strange geometric patterns that seemed almost technological in design. "What is all this?" Elena whispered. "It's like a map. Or a story. But I can't read it." Jaren ran his hands over a series of strange symbols near the mast. "These aren't just decorations. They look functional, like instructions or controls. But how? Suddenly, the deck shivered beneath their feet. The ship tilted slightly, as if acknowledging their presence. The crew froze, staring at one another. "Did you feel that?" Elena asked, her voice shaking. Rhea nodded slowly. "Yes. It's responding. It knows we're here." The fog thickened, and a faint glow began to emerge from the ship's interior. Elena approached one of the doors leading below deck. As she opened it, a soft light filled the cabin. Inside, she saw a series of intricate mechanisms, wooden gears, polished brass, and crystal lenses that seemed impossible for their age. Jaren's jaw dropped. This is advanced, way beyond anything from centuries ago. This could change everything we know about human history. Elena's eyes widened. It's a reminder that humans have always been capable of extraordinary things. We just forget sometimes. They explored further, finding more signs of ingenuity: water filtration systems, storage compartments, navigation instruments carved with meticulous precision. The Galleon had survived centuries, traveling against the tides, carrying secrets of a forgotten era. Rhea ran her hand along the rail. It's as if the ship is alive, carrying knowledge and purpose across time. But why? And why now? Suddenly, a sound came from below, a faint hum, like the whisper of a machine awakening after a long sleep. The crew exchanged worried glances. "Maybe it's mechanical," Jaren said, though his voice betrayed uncertainty. "Some sort of ancient engine?" Elena shook her head. "No engine, no fuel. It moves against the tide, on its own. This is beyond anything we understand." The ship shivered again, and the glow from the cabin intensified. A holographic projection flickered to life, forming a transparent figure in the shape of a human. The crew froze in shock. "Welcome," the figure said in a soft, melodic voice. "You are the first humans to board this vessel in centuries. We have waited for those who seek knowledge, courage, and curiosity." Elena's breath caught. It speaks?" "Yes," the figure replied. "I am the keeper of this galleon. I preserve human knowledge, history, and purpose. For centuries, I have sailed these waters, waiting for humans who are ready to understand." The crew exchanged awed looks. Fear mingled with wonder. They realized that this galleon was not just a ship. It was a testament to human ingenuity, a bridge between the forgotten past and a possible future. Rhea stepped forward. "If what you say is true, what is your purpose? Why are you moving against the tide?" "To find humans worthy of carrying forward our legacy," the hologram explained. "To remind you that humanity, even in forgotten times, was capable of great things, and to inspire you to surpass what you know." Elena's eyes glimmered with tears. We've underestimated ourselves. We've forgotten our potential." The galleon shivered again, and the sails rippled, as if responding to her words. The fog began to lift slightly, revealing the vast expanse of the archipelago ahead. "We need to document this," Jaren said, still in disbelief. "This could be the discovery of the millennium." Elena nodded. "And perhaps the beginning of a new understanding of who we are." Rhea looked out across the water, the galleon steady and resolute. "We came here to explore, but it seems the galleon was waiting to explore us, to see if we were ready." The crew gathered on deck, each lost in thought. They realized that this journey was bigger than science, bigger than history. It was a reminder that humanity, no matter how far it had drifted from its origins, still carried the spark of greatness. As the sun began to rise, breaking through the fog in golden shafts, the galleon moved steadily against the tide, leading the crew into the unknown. And for the first time in centuries, it was not alone. It had found companions worthy of its secrets. The crew of the Aurora spent the early hours exploring the galleon, moving carefully through the deck and down into the shadowed cabins. The air below deck was cool and smelled faintly of aged wood and salt. It was quiet, almost reverent, as if the ship itself were holding its breath, waiting for them to understand something it had carried for centuries. Dr. Elena Morales ran her fingers along the walls, tracing the intricate carvings. The symbols were strange, geometric yet organic, patterns she had never seen before. Some appeared to depict humans reaching toward stars, others showed strange machines interacting with the oceans. "Look at this," she murmured to Jaren Kai, pointing to a small hatch in the floorboards. It was fitted perfectly. No nails visible. Almost as if it were grown rather than built. Jaren knelt beside it, running his hands over the smooth wood. "Some kind of storage compartment," he said, but his voice held doubt. "But why is it so precise? And why hide it?" Elena knelt beside him, brushing away the dust. This ship, it wasn't meant to just sail. It was meant to carry knowledge, instructions, perhaps even a message. Rhea Donovan joined them, her eyes scanning the cabin. If that's true, what kind of message survives hundreds of years at sea? And who was supposed to receive it? Before they could answer, a soft hum filled the cabin. The floorboards vibrated faintly under their feet. The hatch slid open slowly, as if it had been waiting for them. From beneath, a soft golden light spilled out, illuminating a set of objects carefully arranged inside. Elena gasped. There were small mechanical devices, like delicate instruments, each carved from polished wood and brass. Some were covered in symbols, similar to the ones on the walls. Others appeared to be small celestial models, showing stars, planets, and orbits with astonishing accuracy. These aren't just instruments," Elena whispered. "They're teaching tools, maps of the universe, knowledge from a time we thought we didn't have." Jaren leaned closer, inspecting a device shaped like a globe. And somehow they survived all this time, not a single mechanism broken. "It's incredible." Rhea's gaze was distant. This ship, it wasn't just built to sail. It was built to preserve, to teach, maybe even to guide. As they explored further, the soft hum grew stronger, and the golden light began to form into a three-dimensional image in the center of the cabin. A holographic projection flickered into life, taking the form of a figure, translucent, yet unmistakably human. "Welcome," the figure said. Its voice was calm and melodic, carrying no fear or anger, only purpose. "You are the first humans to step aboard in centuries. I am the keeper of this vessel. I preserve knowledge, history, and the achievements of those who came before you. I have waited for those who seek understanding and courage." Elena took a step forward. "You speak? Who are you? How are you here?" The hologram tilted its head. "I am not alive in the way you understand life. I am a repository, a consciousness built by the creators of this ship to survive through time. My purpose is to guide, to preserve, and to ensure that humanity remembers its own potential." Jaren ran his hand through his hair. "So this Galleon, it's like a time capsule. But why move? Why come against the tide?" "The Galleon moves according to purpose," the hologram explained. "It seeks those capable of understanding its mission. It waits until the right humans appear, those who are willing to learn and to act." For centuries, it sailed quietly, observing, waiting, preserving knowledge until its companions arrived. Rhea's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "So we were chosen. But for what?" "To continue the journey," the hologram said. "To carry forward the understanding that humanity, even in forgotten times, achieved greatness. To ensure that what was learned is not lost, and that new generations may surpass what came before." Elena felt a thrill of awe. This ship is proof. Proof that humans, even long ago, could achieve incredible things. We've always underestimated ourselves." The hologram's image shifted slightly, showing a three-dimensional map of the seas, stars, and distant lands. "The mission of this Galleon is exploration, not merely of the oceans, but of knowledge, of life, and of the potential within humanity. You are the continuation of this mission. You may learn from it, and you may surpass it. Jaren leaned closer to the map. This isn't just local knowledge. Some of these symbols, some of these coordinates, they point beyond Earth, beyond the oceans. The crew exchanged stunned glances. The possibility was almost unimaginable. For centuries, humanity had wondered if it could reach the stars. And here, hidden in a forgotten galleon, was evidence that it had been possible before, long before anyone remembered. Elena shivered, feeling the weight of history pressing against her. We are standing on the shoulders of ancestors who built this. And yet no one remembers them. No one knows what they achieved. But now it's our responsibility. Quote, the hologram's voice softened, almost like a whisper of encouragement. Knowledge is not possession. It is responsibility. To carry it is to honor those who came before, and to inspire those who will come after. Ria took a deep breath. So what do we do now? How do we even begin to understand all this? You explore, the hologram replied simply. You study, you learn, and you act. The Galleon will assist, but it cannot do the work for you. Its purpose is guidance, not replacement. The potential lies within you. Elena moved to the side, staring at one of the devices that resembled a celestial globe. As she turned it in her hands, tiny lights appeared along its surface, showing paths, stars, and planetary alignments. This is incredible. It's a star chart, but not like anything modern science knows. The precision, it's beyond current telescopes. Jaren's voice was quieter now, almost reverent. And it's all carved and constructed by humans? From centuries ago? Yes, Elena said, her voice full of wonder. Humans built this. We built it. And now it's waiting for us to continue. The crew spent hours exploring the Galleon, uncovering more instruments, carvings, and messages. Each discovery deepened their sense of awe. They realized that the ship had been traveling for centuries, carrying not only wood and sails, but human ingenuity, creativity, and hope. By midday, the fog outside had begun to lift, revealing the jagged coastline of the archipelago. The Galleon, moving steadily against the tide, seemed to respond to the crew's attention. As they worked, the ship adjusted its course slightly, gliding through the currents with an almost conscious precision. Elena looked out over the water, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. This Galleon, it's alive in its own way, not with flesh or blood, but with purpose. It moves because it has a reason, and that reason is tied to us. Ria nodded slowly. And if we fail to understand it? If we don't rise to the challenge? You will not fail, the hologram said firmly. Those who arrive aboard are chosen because they carry the potential. It is in your hands to awaken the knowledge, to carry it forward, and to act with courage and wisdom. The crew worked in silence for a while, each absorbed in thought. They realized that the Galleon was more than a vessel, it was a bridge between the forgotten achievements of the past and the possibilities of the future. It was a reminder that humanity's reach was always greater than its memory. As the sun rose higher, the crew gathered on the deck. The Galleon's sails, though tattered, caught the faintest currents, moving as if the ship were stretching after a long sleep. The water around them sparkled, reflecting golden light across the wood. Elena turned to Ria and Jaren. We can't just observe. We have to learn. We have to understand what this ship represents. And then, we have to continue its mission. For humanity. Ria's voice was steady, filled with determination. Then that's what we'll do. This ship has waited centuries to find us. We won't let it wait any longer. The hologram smiled, its image flickering softly. Good. Begin with study. Then action. Your courage and curiosity will guide the Galleon as it has guided you. Together, you will uncover what was once forgotten. The crew spent the rest of the day moving through the Galleon, cataloging instruments, studying carvings, and learning how the ship's mechanisms worked. Every discovery reinforced a single truth. Humans had always been capable of greatness, even in times long before their memory. By evening, the fog had lifted entirely, and the horizon was clear. The galleon moved steadily, purposefully, as though it had finally found the crew it had waited for. The sun set in brilliant streaks of gold and crimson, reflecting on the polished brass of the ship's instruments and the worn wood of its deck. Elena stood at the railing, staring at the water. It's more than a ship. It's a message, a challenge, a gift. And it's ours now. Ria stood beside her, eyes fixed on the distant horizon. Then we follow it. Not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity. Jaren nodded, a rare smile crossing his face. I've spent my life building machines, fixing engines, and chasing science. But this is bigger. It's everything humans can be. And everything we've forgotten we were capable of. The galleon shifted slightly beneath them, almost as if acknowledging their resolve. Its silent hum filled the evening air, a song of endurance, knowledge, and purpose. That night, as the crew settled into the galleon's cabins, sleep came slowly. Each of them felt the weight of what they had discovered, the responsibility, the promise, and the hope carried by a vessel that had sailed through centuries alone. And somewhere deep within the heart of the galleon, its mechanisms whispered softly, preparing for the next stage of the journey, ready to reveal even greater secrets to those who dared to follow. The next morning arrived with a calm sky, yet the crew felt a strange tension in the air, as if something important was about to happen. The galleon drifted steadily through the water, its movements smooth and deliberate, as though it knew its destination. The Aurora followed close behind, connected through comms, but most of the crew now chose to stay aboard the galleon, studying its secrets and trying to understand its nature. Ria Donovan woke before sunrise and stepped onto the main deck. The sea was peaceful, painted in soft gold as dawn broke. She took a deep breath, feeling both excitement and responsibility pressing against her chest. This ancient ship had carried knowledge for centuries, and now it had chosen them. That thought alone was enough to push her forward. Elena Morales joined her moments later, rubbing her eyes. "Did you sleep at all?" she asked gently. "Not really," Ria admitted. "Too much on my mind. I keep thinking about what the keeper said yesterday. About purpose. About us being the next step." Elena nodded. "I didn't sleep either. I kept going over the carvings below deck. Some of them show storms. Massive ones. It's almost like the ship expected danger, or prepared for it." Before Ria could reply, the galleon gave a soft but noticeable shudder beneath their feet. A faint hum rose from the wooden floorboards, and the sails rustled without wind. Jaren Kai hurried up from below deck, tools hanging from his belt. "The ship is waking up," he said breathlessly. "The mechanisms inside are activating. I think it's changing direction." Ria stepped toward the bow, gripping the railing. The galleon was indeed turning, its hull cutting through the water with newfound determination. The current pushed against it, trying to pull it back, but the ship moved forward with quiet strength. "The tide is going the opposite way," Elena whispered. "But it doesn't care. It's pushing against it." They watched as the galleon continued forward, picking up speed. The Aurora adjusted course to follow, but the galleon was clearly guiding the expedition now. The keeper's holographic form appeared beside them, glowing softly in the morning light. "You have learned much," it said. "Now the galleon will show you the next steps, but you must be prepared. The waters ahead will test you." "What kind of test?" Ria asked. "Not one of knowledge," the keeper replied. "One of courage." Before anyone could ask more, a change in the air made them look up. Dark clouds gathered on the horizon, rolling toward them like a wall of night. The peaceful sea began to ripple, small waves building into larger ones. Jaren frowned. "That storm. It came out of nowhere." "No," Elena said slowly. "It didn't come from nowhere. The galleon led us here. It knew this was coming." Ria tightened her grip on the railing. Then we face it. The winds picked up quickly, strong enough to whip loose ropes against the deck. The sky grew darker. Thunder rumbling like distant giants, the waves rose higher, slamming against the ancient hull. But the galleon pressed forward with steady determination. Below deck, the glowing mechanisms activated brighter than before, sending warm light through the cracks in the floorboards. The ship's carved symbols pulsed in gentle rhythms, almost like a heartbeat. Jaren inspected the mechanisms, his eyes wide. "These are stabilizing systems," he shouted over the rising wind. "They're trying to keep the ship level." Elena grabbed a railing as the ship tilted sharply. "It's working for now." A massive wave crashed over the bow, soaking the deck. Rhea held on tightly, shouting instructions to secure loose equipment. The storm raged harder with every passing minute, the sky flashing with lightning, the sea turning wild and unpredictable. The Aurora, trailing behind, struggled against the waves. Its crew communicated through static-filled radios, reassuring the galleon's crew that they were hanging on. The keeper appeared again, its voice calm even as the winds howled. "This storm is strong, but the galleon is stronger. It was built for challenges like this. Trust in its purpose." Rhea braced herself against the mast. "If this ship survived centuries alone, then we can survive one storm." Lightning split the sky, illuminating the towering waves around them. The galleon surged upward as a massive swell lifted it, then crashed down with a force that shook every plank. Elena held onto a rope, her heart racing. "This is unbelievable. It's moving like a living thing." "It is alive," Jaren shouted back. "Not with life as we know it, but with purpose, with design, with human ideas brought to life." Another wave hit them, nearly knocking Elena off her feet. Rhea grabbed her arm just in time, pulling her back toward safety. "Stay together," Rhea yelled. "No one goes alone." The storm intensified, the wind screaming like a living creature. Rain stung their faces, blurring their vision. Yet despite the chaos, the galleon never lost its direction. It continued cutting through the waves, guided by something deeper than simple mechanics. Below deck, the glowing mechanisms rotated faster, stabilizing the ship in ways that seemed impossible. Some gears moved through wood, without creating holes. Some lights glowed brighter when the ship tilted, adjusting balance instantly. Elena stared in awe. "It's responding to the storm, almost like it can feel it." "The ship is built with intelligence," the keeper explained. "A different kind of intelligence than humans, but one shaped by human hands. It was created to survive the unknown." A loud crash shook the ship as a massive wave slammed into the port side. Wooden planks groaned, but none broke. The galleon absorbed the impact like a giant taking a deep breath, then pushed forward stronger than before. The storm raged for what felt like hours. The sky grew darker until it seemed like night. The wind whipped the sails, yet the galleon's rigging held strong. Jaren checked and rechecked the tension on the ropes, amazed that none snapped. "It shouldn't be this strong," he muttered. "This wood, it's ancient, but it's holding like it's brand new." Elena watched the glowing carvings along the rail. The symbols, they're reacting too, like they're fueling the ship. Rhea steadied herself. This ship was designed by humans who understood the world in ways we don't anymore. This is the proof of what we can achieve. The keeper's voice carried through the storm, firm and reassuring. The galleon does not fear the storm. It embraces it. Challenges reveal purpose. Rhea blinked away rain. "Then, let it show us what humans are capable of." For a moment, the storm reached its peak. Waves towered on both sides of the ship like walls of water. The wind roared so loudly that it drowned out all thought. The sky cracked open with a massive bolt of lightning that hit the water nearby, sending a spray of fire-like sparks toward them. Then something unexpected happened. The galleon began glowing. Soft golden light seeped from every carving, every symbol, every crack between the floorboards. The sails shimmered faintly, as if woven with threads of light. The ship straightened itself, pushing through the final wave with unstoppable force. The wave crashed behind them, splitting apart like a curtain. And suddenly, the storm weakened. The winds slowed. The rain softened. The clouds began to thin. Within minutes, the sea calmed. The galleon drifted forward on gentle waves, glowing softly as if proud of its resilience. The storm passed behind them, moving toward the distant horizon. Elena exhaled shakily. We made it. Jaren leaned against the railing, exhausted. I have no idea how, but yes. We made it. Rhea closed her eyes for a moment, letting relief wash over her. The galleon saved us. It knew how to face the storm. The keeper appeared again, its glow gentle. The storm was a test of unity, trust, and courage. You faced it together. The galleon responded to your resolve. Elena wiped rain from her face. But why test us? To ensure that you are ready, the keeper said. Knowledge alone is not enough. Those who continue this journey must have courage. They must push against fear as the galleon pushes against the tide. Rhea stepped forward, her voice steady. We're ready. Whatever comes next, we'll face it. Humans have always faced the unknown and grown stronger. The keeper's expression softened. Then follow the galleon. It knows where to take you next. The clouds parted, revealing a clear horizon touched by soft orange sunlight. The ocean glittered peacefully, as if welcoming them to a new chapter. The galleon continued moving, stronger and more determined than before. The Aurora pulled alongside, its crew cheering with relief. Jaren looked at the glowing carvings. This storm showed us something important. This ship may be ancient, but its strength comes from human hands, human minds, human dreams. Elena nodded slowly. And now it's showing us that we're capable of just as much. Rhea stepped to the bow, staring ahead. The storm didn't stop us. Nothing will. We go forward. The galleon hummed softly beneath their feet, as if agreeing. With calm seas ahead and a growing fire of determination within their hearts, the crew prepared for the next part of their journey, ready to uncover even deeper secrets of humanity's forgotten greatness. The morning sun broke across the horizon, painting the calm waters in gold and orange. The galleon moved steadily, its sails catching faint currents despite the absence of wind. The crew of the Aurora, now fully aboard the mysterious vessel, stood together on deck, absorbing the serene beauty of the sea. For the first time in days, there was no fog, no uncertainty, only the vast expanse of water stretching endlessly in every direction. Rhea Donovan surveyed the horizon, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing gently on her shoulders. They had learned so much from the galleon, and yet she knew their journey was only beginning. The ship had moved with purpose, carrying knowledge, wisdom, and history, guiding them toward something unseen. Dr. Elena Morales held one of the celestial globes they had discovered below deck, its tiny lights tracing the paths of distant stars. The ship isn't just a relic, she said quietly. It's a teacher. It shows us what we've forgotten, what we are capable of, and what we can achieve if we dare to continue. Jaren Kai ran his hand along the galleon's rail, eyes scanning the polished wood and brass instruments embedded into the deck. Every part of this ship, it's alive in a way, he said. Not like us, but it reacts, it guides, and it protects. And somehow, it knows exactly what we need. As they sailed, the galleon shifted subtly, adjusting its course with precision. The waters ahead began to deepen, currents growing stronger. Dark clouds gathered far in the distance, and a storm loomed on the horizon. Rhea frowned. It looks like the weather is changing. Are we prepared for a storm? Elena glanced at the celestial globe, its tiny lights flickering with new alignments. It's not just weather, she said. The ship, it anticipates challenges. It moves us toward them, but it also shows us how to overcome them. Jaren tightened his grip on the railing. If this storm hits as hard as it looks, even the galleon will need help. Are we ready to do our part? The clouds rolled closer, dark and heavy, and the wind began to rise. The galleon shifted its sails, catching currents in ways no ordinary ship could. Water sloshed against the hull, and waves grew taller, crashing against the deck with increasing force. Elena steadied herself, holding onto the railing. The ship is teaching us again. It wants to see how we handle danger, how we work together. It's testing our courage and ingenuity. Rhea nodded. Then we won't fail. We've come this far, and we will rise to the challenge. The first gusts of the storm struck with sudden violence, rattling the deck and sending sheets of rain across the crew. The galleon tilted sharply as it cut through the towering waves, yet it held steady. Jaren and Elena worked quickly, adjusting ropes and examining the intricate mechanisms embedded in the deck. Each pulley, each carved wheel responded to their touch, functioning with a precision that made even Jaren marvel. This ship, it's teaching us to trust ourselves, he shouted over the wind. We have to act, not just watch. The crew moved with purpose, following Rhea's commands and responding to the galleon's subtle signals. Every adjustment they made seemed to synchronize with the ship itself, as though the vessel and crew were now part of a single living system. Elena glanced at the celestial globe once more. The ship anticipates the storm. Look at these paths, it's showing us how to navigate, how to survive. If we follow its guidance, we'll make it through. Hours passed as the storm raged, each wave larger and more forceful than the last. The galleon dipped and rose, its wood groaning under the pressure, but it never faltered. The crew's hands were raw, their muscles aching, yet they pushed forward with determination. At one point, a massive wave crashed across the deck, knocking Jaren off his feet. He grabbed a rope and held on tightly, watching as Elena helped another crew member stabilize a pulley. Rhea shouted orders, her voice cutting through the roar of the storm. Adjust the main sails, follow the mechanisms, trust the ship. Through the chaos, the crew began to feel a strange rhythm. The galleon seemed to anticipate their movements, guiding them through the storm with subtle shifts of its deck, gentle vibrations in its railings, and the soft hum that had always accompanied its presence. It was teaching them to work together, to trust not only the ship, but also each other. As night fell, the storm began to lose its intensity. The waves grew smaller, the wind less fierce, and the rain slowed to a drizzle. Exhausted but exhilarated, the crew gathered on the deck. The galleon swayed gently, its sails catching the faint moonlight. Elena breathed deeply, looking at the instruments embedded into the deck. We made it, she whispered. And we learned more than I ever imagined we could. Jaren nodded, his face lit by the soft glow of the celestial globe. The ship, it's more than wood and sails. It's a teacher, a guide, a challenge. It showed us what humans are capable of, how we can rise to any occasion if we trust ourselves and each other. Rhea looked toward the horizon, where the first hints of a new land appeared, faint against the starlit sky. And this is only the beginning. We survived the storm. Now we move forward, into the unknown, guided by the galleon and by our own determination. As dawn approached, the mist lifted to reveal a hidden archipelago, untouched and vibrant. The galleon's course led them to calm waters surrounding a cluster of islands rich with natural resources and life. Birds soared above, and the air smelled of salt, earth, and new beginnings. Elena's eyes widened in wonder. It's perfect, she said softly. A world waiting to be explored. A place where we can learn, discover, and create. Jaren scanned the islands with a pair of binoculars, and it's untouched. No one has been here for centuries, maybe millennia. It's like the galleon saved this place for us. Rhea turned to the crew, her expression filled with determination. This is our chance. Not just to survive, but to thrive. To continue the mission the galleon began centuries ago. We have the knowledge, the courage, and the skill. Now it's our responsibility to act. Elena placed a hand on the rail, feeling the subtle vibrations of the galleon beneath her. The ship entrusted us with its secrets, and it will continue to guide us, as long as we remain true to its purpose. We are part of something bigger than ourselves. The crew spent the day exploring the archipelago, cataloging its resources and studying the environment. The Galleon's instruments provided guidance, showing currents, winds, and hidden passages that made their work easier. Each discovery deepened their sense of awe. The world around them was vibrant, full of life, and untouched by human greed or destruction. As evening fell, the crew gathered on the main deck once more. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the water. The galleon rested gently in the calm bay, sails slack, but alive with subtle energy. Rhea spoke first, her voice steady and full of conviction. We've survived storms, discovered the galleon's secrets, and arrived at a new world. But our journey doesn't end here. This place is only the beginning. We will continue the mission, explore, learn, and grow. We will honor the legacy of those who built this ship and preserve the knowledge they entrusted to us. Elena nodded, her eyes reflecting the golden light of sunset. The galleon waited for humans who were ready to carry forward its purpose. We have been chosen, not because we are perfect, but because we are willing to try, to learn, and to act. Jaren smiled, exhausted but happy. And now we know that humans are capable of anything. We just need to remember, to trust ourselves, and to work together. The galleon proved that to us. As night fell, the crew settled into their new surroundings, ready to begin the next phase of their journey. The galleon rested in the calm waters, its wood gleaming under the moonlight, instruments softly glowing with knowledge from centuries past. Somewhere deep within the ship, the mechanisms whispered gently, a quiet hum that resonated through the deck and into the hearts of the crew. It was a song of endurance, knowledge, and hope, a reminder that humanity, no matter how far it strayed or how long it was forgotten, could rise again and surpass the tides of time itself. And in that moment, as stars reflected on the calm waters and the galleon waited patiently, the crew understood the truth. They were not just explorers of a hidden world, they were explorers of humanity's potential. They were witnesses to a legacy that had survived centuries, carried on a vessel that had moved against the tide, all by itself, waiting for the right humans to arrive. The galleon had found its companions, humanity had found its path, and together, they sailed toward a horizon of infinite possibilities, guided by courage, wisdom, and the enduring spirit that had built the stars into reach centuries before. It was a new beginning, not just for the crew, not just for the galleon, but for humanity itself. The wind whispered across the water, the sails shifted gently, and the forgotten galleon moved forward, carrying the promise of hope, discovery, and the unbreakable spirit of humankind. The journey had only just begun. But for the first time in centuries, it was a journey they would make together.